Hey Peaches, I'm Eleanor and welcome to Peaches by Starlight Tarot. This is your weekly pick a card reading regarding career, finance, job, work, creative ventures, and all that kind of good stuff. Stack 1 is the Fox, Stack 2 is the Chick, Stack 3 is the Blue Tang Fish, and their timestamp below. I'm using the Everyday Tarot and the Sacred Traveler, and at the end of each one I'll be doing a pick a card using Divine Doors. So go ahead and set your intention for whether you feel like card 1, 2, or 3. We'll have a message for you. If you'd like a private reading all to yourself with no one else's energy involved, my Etsy page is linked below. If you hear something that helps you out, please let me know by hitting that like button. And if you want to keep up with me every Saturday, go ahead and subscribe. Let's get started. Okay, so if you chose Stack 1 or chose the Fox, your Sacred Traveler card for the week is First Light, beginning a new cycle. You have the High Priestess, the Nine of Swords, and the Five of Swords. Hang on a second. All right. Okay. So this first light energy is, it speaks perfectly to the energy of a new year. It's talking about out with the old, in with the new, clean slate, the cyclic nature of our lives. Like with this crescent moon, there's that moon there, and I feel like, oh yeah, here it is. We have this kind of crescent moon motif being repeated, and that's talking, it looks like something that's the thing that's coming out and the thing that's going to be phased out. Disappearance of the old cycle and the approach of a new one. And so in the spirit of first light, the dawning of a new day, what is it that you want to see in your rear view, and what is it that you want to see ahead of you? With the Nine of Swords and the Five of Swords, this is the perfect time to examine the role that worry has played in your life. Has it added to or taken away from your well-being? And that might seem obvious, like, duh, of course worry is bad for my well-being, but I worry because things are hard, because things could happen, because of the scary world. It's like, if things were safer, if I were more secure, then I wouldn't have to worry so much, and my well-being would improve. Which, it gives away your power to circumstances. Maintaining a worry bubble does serve a purpose, and I've been there, to where you feel like if you surround your concerns and your worries in this bubble of energy, that you can somehow prevent them from happening. And if anything, I used to always think that those things that happened to me, like if something negative were to happen, or bad, it's because I forgot to worry about it ahead of time. I always felt blindsided by these things, and by worrying about them enough and sending that worrying energy, I was keeping myself safe. And it's like you feel like through that worry you have the power to prevent or protect. But you're being asked right here with this energy, really, is it really, what's detracting from your ability to create and enjoy your abundance? Is it reality, or is it fear of what could happen? It's like, consider for New Year's, instead of giving up a food group or whatever, try to reclaim your power from that worry bubble. Try to get the energy back that you've put into that. If it's using the imagery of a bubble, all the energy that you've pumped into it to make it big. What if you could do something else with that? And let your intuition speak. We haven't talked too much about this. You're being guided forth in this new energy by your instincts. The High Priestess, that's your inner light and your instincts and your connection to Source and your ability to hear the divine and the universe speaking to you. But it does feel like with this, the mind has been blocking it with fearful scenarios, keeping you here. This is like a safe but small energy. So what is rising with this new day is your ability to trust your gut towards your career goals, and realizing the role that fear has played in keeping you from them. Maybe the thing to give up for New Year's is fear if you're doing resolution. That worry bubble is taking from you more than it's giving to you. All right, go ahead and set your intention for whether you feel like card 1, 2, or 3 will have a message, and let me tune in. Okay, card 1. All right, there's your door. Freedom flows. Don't hold yourself back from worldly freedom. Dream grand things for divine sacred reason. So it's just what you're talking about, holding yourself back. And freedom from worry. Dream big. Okay, card 2. Make sure I have it facing the right way. There's your door. Draw down the moon. Oh, I think we were just talking about those, the crescent moon. The forest nymphs dance in sheer delight, singing soft songs. Find us in the wild. Good night. That feels like a little bit like lightening up, but also learning, talking about the cyclic nature. Because it's talking about the moon and this lighthearted energy, it's kind of like riding the energy and riding the waves and knowing that there's a cycle to it and not having to fear the night or the darker side or the underside, whatever is the bad side of the cycle, but it's coming around again and nothing is permanent. Anyway, card 3, palmistry. Fortune and tarot, collective destiny. The palm lies from birth. Tell your sacred palmistry. Listen to the notes of intuition. So at the bottom there, listen to the notes of intuition. That's going to be that high priestess energy. Palmistry, that's like kind of a very specific directive that maybe you should get your palm read if you're into that. Maybe there's something that can be told to you there. Anyway, like, share, and subscribe and all that good stuff, and I'll talk to you next Saturday. Thank you. Okay, if you chose stack 2 or chose the baby chick. Sorry, I didn't do my nails this weekend. It's been a busy week. Your Sacred Traveler card is Discovering Truth. You stand in the light of truth. Okay, you have the Queen of Cups, the 5 of Cups, and the Ace of Wands. These are great readings for New Year's so far. I'm kind of loving the way that last one and this one are both showing up. Great fresh start energy, new beginnings. Oops. So with Discover Truth and Ace of Wands, I noticed that he's holding this this walking stick, and doesn't it kind of mirror? Look at that kind of mirroring energy right there. But Discovering Truth, that feels like Ace of Swords. That feels like this epiphany-like energy. So it's like speaking on a new alignment of thought and action. Authenticity, inner and outer alignment, walking your talk. Okay, so it's as though it's one thing to have an epiphany with that Ace of Swords and to have an idea or to make a decision. That's what it feels like is with going on with this Truth card, but it's with the Ace of Wands, you're allowing that to motivate a new behavior, to be channeled into action. And so with the Queen of Cups and the 5 of Cups, the action is to move on and to heal from something that you've already said you've gotten over. So it makes me think of the other night I was watching The Big Bang Theory, and what's his face? Leonard runs into Penny in the hall, and she's with a new guy, and they're like, and he's like, so he's talking to the guys later, and he's like, oh, well, it's no big deal. We've both moved on. And they're like, have you? Well, he's like, well, just because I haven't gone out with anybody. So it's that saying you've moved on. This is what saying that this idea in your head and actually taking that action of going out with someone new. But this is career reading. That's kind of a relationship metaphor. But it just reminded me of that scenario in, what was it, Big Bang Theory. Anyway, so it's like you've decided to overcome a loss, to rebuild, to pick up the pieces, to move forward and focus on what you have to work with and use it to plant the seeds of the new. But have you taken action in the real world to back that up? The Queen of Cups is she's the most connected to her heart out of the whole deck. And so you will have to get your emotions behind this 100% before it all comes together. So when your thoughts and emotions can get on the same page, that's when this wand becomes activated and electrified and infused with magic and power for growth and change. It's like you've had your moment of clarity, climbed into the pool, but you're still hanging onto the ladder for dear life. So letting go of that and swimming to the deep end means moving full on and expanding into your emotional body. This Ace of Wands is the impulse that calls you off that ladder into that emotional body. And then your emotional body is behind you and you have your emotions and your inspiration on the same page. And then you actually take the action to move forward. It's like a really lengthy and complicated way of describing the Chariot. All right. Go ahead and set your intention for whether you feel like card 1, 2, or 3 will have a message for you. And let me tune in. All right, card 1. There's your door. Inner power. By your own command, you brought yourself here. At this moment in life, you have nothing to fear. That is so Ace of Wands, isn't it? And truth. Discovering truth. You stand in the light of truth. All right, card 2. Looks like that. Palmistry. This showed up in the last one. Fortune and Tarot, collective destiny. The palm lines from birth tell your sacred palmistry. Listen to the notes of intuition. So that right there at the bottom, that's really important thing, listening to your intuition. And you have the Queen of Cups, who is the most intuitive queen of them all. And so your emotions are almost like the lifeblood that carries nutrients throughout the body. It's like your emotions are what is carrying messages from your intuition up into your head. I don't know where that came from. Also, maybe get your palm read. That might be fun. Card 3. All right, there's your door. Bless this space. Your sacred space holds the soul to bear. Palo Santo or sage will clear the air. Well, that's great for the beginning of the year to clear your space. And you know, the thing about sometimes taking action and having a choice that you've made and the distance between you making that choice and taking the action is some preparation, some making space, some moving things around. There's some new videos I want to do for this channel. I don't want to give them away just yet, but before I can just sit down and start filming, I've had to make some changes in my kitchen to clear space and to clean up and to set things up so that they'll be conducive to the videos before I can even actually press play on the first video. So that might be what you need to do, is to clear your space so that you can take this action that you've already decided you want to take. All right, guys, like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff, and I'll talk to you next Saturday. Thank you. Okay, if you chose stack 3 or chose the fish that I always almost drop, your Sacred Traveler card is overcoming obstacles. You can overcome anything. Okay, you have Death, the 7 of Cups, and the 10 of Cups. Okay. Okay, so with overcoming obstacles, they are talking about your path forward. And whether that means out is through, like the Alanis song, or no, there's also a quote the obstacle is the path. I forget who it's from. Whether it means being adaptable and going under, constructing a hot air balloon and going above, climbing down one side of this cliff and going around and coming up the other. It's talking about strategizing your course. And with the 10 of Cups as your coordinates, it's talking about ultimate emotional fulfillment. And so in a career reading, it's talking about what you do in completing that picture. It's like, it's key in that total fulfillment. It completes the picture of that perfect life for you. And clearly there appear to be some obstacles between you and that dream. And so with the 7 of Cups, I have to ask, are you seeing that picture only as a fantasy or as an illusion? Something that will always be on the other side of this obstacle. With the Death card and overcoming obstacles, it tells me that of all those options when it comes to strategizing your course, in this case, it's going to be dissolving this obstacle, like sprinkling some kind of eroding agent on it to where it breaks down and disappears and melts away. You're not changing direction. You're not doing any of those circuitous actions. You're somehow dissolving this in front of you. And with this kind of fantasy-like energy, it's like it dissolves like an illusion. It dissolves the way a dream does when you wake up. So it's like, is the obstacle representing a belief system that completion on this level doesn't exist? That it is an ideal sold to us, fueling feelings of inadequacy? And what if you believe that it was actually possible and that you do deserve it and that you are capable? Or is it a belief that there is no meaning in what you do? Like that you don't help people, or that you aren't connected to your soul purpose because it's not one of the obvious career choices, like a life coach or an EMT or whatever. Can you recognize the divinity in the mundane? It's like that tantric or Tao, that there is nothing that's not sacred. And so if you're fully present in what you do, you can't be unconnected to soul purpose. That wherever you are, that's where you're needed. And can you find the divinity even though it's not guru or doctor or president or whatever? Go ahead and set your intention for whether you feel like card 1, 2, or 3 will have a message for you. And let me tune in. All right, card 1. All right, there's your card. Sunset. Time here turns to release and unfurl. Old cords of pain fade as the sun's light burns. Doesn't that sound kind of like what I was talking about? That's very like the Death card. Time here turns to release and unfurl. Old cords of pain fade as the sunlight burns. The sunlight comes and dries it all up. Okay, card 2. Haha! So we had death and all the things that means that I talked about. And if you're familiar with death, the tarot card already, you'll love this. Birth. Another gateway appears in view. New life is unfolding with blessings to you. On the other side of that obstacle, as soon as you dissolve it. All right, card 3. Patience. Everything soon will come to light, and then you will see things will be all right. All right, guys. Like, share, and subscribe, and all that good stuff, and I'll talk to you next Saturday. Thank you.